You're now tuned in to another episode of the LABL Podcast. Oh, man. All right, check. Y'all tuned in to another episode of the LABL Podcast. I'm your host, Name Tag. To my left, I got DJ DDT. We back at it.
Yeah, Name Tag is using his radio voice right now.
This definitely... What is it?
Yeah.
That's how I normally talk.
No, it ain't.
It's not?
It is not.
You know what? it's something about the mic. It definitely changed. Like, immediately when the mic is on, you
Mic
like...
turn on, yeah. You are now rocking live with Name Tag.
That's funny. That is funny because I definitely had a completely different voice. Like when I was just talking to you before we pressed record. Right. We back at it. This episode 22. I started this podcast in December. That's crazy.
What's up.
Yep, December, man. That's crazy. We are in August right now, and like I say, episode 22. LeadingBeLegendary.net. Order some merch. Get you some gear. We got the Hello Victory EP coming out September 8th. I've been doing a promotion for it online. Shout out to Black Beethoven. I ain't gonna hold y'all too long, man. Before we jump into it, shout out to Jenny Risher. Is that how you pronounce her last name? Man.
Oh wait.
Deciphered.
Shout out to the Crickets. This is like the nighttime version of LABL podcast.
LABL at night.
Right.
I don't know how to do my Keith Sweat voice, but yeah.
Right. But anyway, shout out to Jenny Risher.
Man, I was saying this to you before, like, Decipher, if y'all in the Detroit area, hell, if you don't mind visiting from out of town, go to the Detroit Institute of Arts. There is an exhibit called Decipher that features the history of Detroit hip-hop. And you will look and you will see pretty much most, if not all, of Detroit hip-hop artists that have contributed pretty much from day one.
Hip-hop artists, hip-hop producers, hip-hop DJs. From day one, I wouldn't say day one, but damn near.
Almost day one. It's enough history down there for, man.
From the 80s to now.
Incredible. I'm fortunate to be a part of it, to even be included in the part of the photo shoot.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's so many, man, I posted this on Twitter. I said, we have, just this photo shoot alone, we have so much talent to contribute, and the photo shoot itself only tells a piece of it. Because like I said, it wasn't everybody.
We can call it an exhibit instead of a photo shoot.
Exhibit. Yeah, I keep saying
we can call it that.
Basically, she took photos, for y'all that's not from Detroit or you're not too familiar with it. Jenny Risher, photographer.
Hell of a fucking photographer.
Hell of a photographer. Like, she snapped some photos of, like I say, pretty much majority, if not all, of the Detroit hip-hop artists that are active, moving around on the scene, whether you still doing music or not, you active out here, and it's an exhibit. It's on display. Detroit Institute of Arts is there until February 2018.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The one that me and DJ DDT is a part of is I want to say it was the last day that they shot in front of St. Andrews.
Last day, last photo.
Let me know if you can spot me. Obviously, you're going to spot DJ DDT because you wore a shirt big as day that said DJ DDT on it. So he's going to be easy to spot. Literally, it's very easy to spot you on there. And I'm chilling somewhere off the left next to, I want to say DJ Skis. Am I right? I think so, yeah. Anyway, the pics is up on Jenny Risher's Instagram. Everybody is sharing it pretty much on social media. If you go to the Detroit Rap Instagram page, shout out to Uncle P, it's at Detroit Rap on Instagram. He posted like a lot of pictures of it. So, man, it's very dope. I'm honored to be a part of it. So, man.
And thanks to, I think you already said it, but thanks again to Jenny Risher.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said, man, and actually, I'm going to add this because I said this. I was like, man, because I'm pretty sure, like you said, New York has done this. They had an exhibit before somewhere in New York. The fact that it's so diverse as far as the talent in the scene, as far as hip-hop.
Yeah. And the fact that she got so much in such a broad time spectrum that everybody represented.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was incredible.
I said, man, somebody to give that much of a fuck to say, hey,
Yep.
I want to shoot all these artists, and broke that. We broke. Man, hip hop has never been in the DIA, never.
Right.
We are in a museum, pretty much. We're in a museum. It had me thinking back to like all the projects I've done, like all the times I was just like, man, I don't feel like doing this project. Like, is it worth it? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it means something.
That made it worth it. Like,
and see, I guess you could say it's along that same line of how I think. One of the things that I've always kept in my head was the fact that an artist like Beethoven was around over 200 years ago,
right.
and we're still talking about him.
Exactly.
I want to make music that we can talk about 200 years after I'm gone.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I've been trying to spread the word about it. Like, yo, there's an exhibit at the DIA, like Detroit Hip Hop. People mad about it. Like, it's a write up. Some racist comments, man. I think Finale shared it, and I was like, wow. Like, a lot of people are happy about it, but it's a small group of people that are pissed. Like basically, what the fuck is a Detroit hip hop exhibit doing in the DIA? That go to show you how big hip hop is, especially Detroit hip hop recognized. Like, man, the pics are fire. The one that stands out to me for whatever reason, maybe because it was like one of the first pictures I seen when they started posting them on Instagram, the Dej Loaf one. I'm like, this is incredible. Like,
I have to go back to it, but
man,
I like just the way. And
how
I
she
guess
shot it.
Yeah,
it's like,
I guess that's the photographer in me. The way she shot her pictures, all of them, the way she shoots is just crazy to me.
It's like every picture is fire.
I even went to her website to look at her commercial stuff and her industrial pictures, or pictures for fashion industry, and they are incredible.
Fire. I guess the Dej Loaf one stood out to me. Shout out to Dej Loaf. Is because the single is fire, No Fear, but I think it stood out to me because I didn't know they got Dej Loaf. Because I was wondering, I said, dang, did they get Big Sean? Did they get Dej Loaf? And I knew she had already got Eminem from the one prior to the Heart Detroit that she did, that one. Or whatever. It was some...
I totally missed that one.
Photographer. Well, he's not in this one, but it's one that she did about Detroit, period. And he was a part... I think it's called like Heart, Soul, Detroit. Google it. Look it up. Jeannie Risher. Just look up her credibilities. You will see it. Is that the right word? Credibility? We know her credibility. Her credits. I'm saying... Same thing. It's credit.
Players fuck up.
But yeah, that one stood out to me because I didn't know she had got Dej Loaf. I didn't know that until like the day that I guess everybody visited the DIA and it was like posting. I'm like, I didn't even know she got her. And it's just amazing. Like, and it's crazy because all those people I know just about. And it's like, dang, you got a person number you can text like, yo, we in the DIA, bro. Like, this is crazy. Like, wow.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. Anyway, we spent a lot of time because it's a big deal. So yeah, we was gonna spend.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
We could have pretty much covered a whole podcast with that. I wouldn't mind interviewing. I ain't gonna say interview, but talking to Jenny about that, like getting her on air about it.
Right.
But I was looking at this. Well, you go. I always go on my topics. You go. Let's see what you got. What topics you got?
I want to talk about artistry in hip hop.
Okay.
And it's crazy because coming off of the DIA thing, that was, artistry and photography.
Ooh, what a segue.
Right. That was, it was a lot of artistry in photography because it took more than just a light and a camera to shoot those pictures.
Yeah.
So I want to know if the art, or artistry is gone from today's hip hop. Of course, the answer is no, because there's always art in everything we do, but is it in the forefront is the question. I tend to not see it as much, but I don't know how other people look at it.
Well, I could say, like, it's there, but when I say it, though, I'm instantly thinking, like, the older artists, right?
Right, and that's why I asked if it was in today's music. You
look at your more, so, and I don't even want to say they're the younger artists, but they're the more recent, where it's artistry there, and they're almost like the exception to the rule, like your Cole, J. Cole, you got Kendrick, obviously Kendrick Lamar, Fuck who? Well, Kanye still, obviously we know he's always gonna try to do, put some
Something
artists.
artsy.
Yeah, he does it like I would say he does it well actually. And Jay-Z, let's.
Now here's my question: with those artsy artists, do you think they do the art because they love what they do, or they do the art because they know that that's in a lane that nobody else is in?
That's a good question. Oh, you came ready. Okay.
Oh, actually, that one's on top of my head.
Oh, okay. Oh, and you freeze. You got notes and you freestyling. Okay.
I'm good, son.
All right. I think it's both. It's a bit of both. Can it be both?
I think it's both. Like I think somebody like Kendrick probably has more art than, I guess is commerce the word? More art than commerce in him.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Jay-Z had art and it kind of stayed in him, but he know he can make money off of it, so he does.
Exactly.
So it's kind of 50-50 with Jay-Z.
And it was pretty weird about that is that the irony, I should say, is that when he said what's the line he say on Moment of Clarity? The truthfully, I want to rhyme like common sense, but I did 5 mil. I ain't been rhyming like common sense.
Right.
However, you fast forward.
He rhyming like common sense.
This is pretty much what you could say is his Common Sense album, right?
Right.
And even more irony to that, it's produced entirely by No ID.
Right.
I had to ask myself that, and it still kind of strays along the topics of the artistry because a song like what's the joint off Common's B album, Faithful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bam.
Yeah.
Faithful. Like, go back, y'all. If y'all know what album I'm talking about.
Which is a dope song.
Man, and Faithful with Bilal on the hook, right?
Right.
That's a 4/4/4 track, basically. So it's like it gives that line so much more depth when Jay-Z says that, truthfully I want to rhyme like common sense, and then you fast forward and here he is. He has a common sense-y type of album, right?
Right.
It's crazy.
With Common Sense as original producer.
Exactly.
Which is crazy.
Yep.
Now, I got another topic. And I guess this is, I don't want to say it's a general question, and I don't want to say it's a generic topic, but I want to know if you think DJs are obsolete.
No.
The reason I ask is because of the way people get music now is barely from a DJ.
Right, that's true.
But what I can say, especially being a DJ, what I can say about that, because I guess I'm answering my own question, DJs still play music a certain way, even if people have heard it. And even if it's people's favorite song, or even if, they playing all the bangers. If you don't play it a certain way, you're basically just a fucking jukebox. So you have to...
Right.
Some DJs like to tell us, like, I'm speaking of good DJs, because there's no such thing as a real DJ and a fake DJ. Either you are a DJ or you're not up there.
Whack.
Now, there is a such thing as a good DJ and a whack DJ. And a good DJ will tell you they're either telling a story or they are providing an experience. They're not providing a service. Good DJs don't provide a service. They provide an experience.
Right.
Or they're telling a story if they, are like heavily established. If you listen to Jazzy Jeff, he's doing both. He's telling a story and he's providing an experience when he DJs.
Right.
So, damn, I guess I answered my own question.
You kind of did.
My own question.
You had it ready. Look, I'm going to ask this and I'm going to answer it. But
my answer was off the top of my head, too.
But I even think now, because they do this thing now, what I've been hearing about a lot lately, I definitely want to go to one. It's the silent parties. You heard about that?
Man, I'm kind of pissed because, here's why I'm pissed. I am pissed about silent parties because when nobody was doing them in Detroit, I saw people doing them in other cities, in other states, and I wanted to do it. I brought it to my DJ crew. My DJ crew was like, yeah, it sounds good. Come to find out, everybody else started doing the shit before I could get a chance to do it. I'm so fucking pissed. And some of the DJs Well, it's not even.
I didn't
DJs.
understand the concept at first, and they explained it. I was like, "Hey, that is fire!" And
like there's an issue I have with silent parties that they do here, and I'm really not sure if they continued it because I haven't been to any of them. But one of the things they were doing is that they would have a silent party, but they would split it up and have 2 or 3 silent parties. So one group of people will be
that's what I heard.
Like
they listen
3
to
different
like
DJs.
Yeah, it's 3 different DJs, and that's the concept I got from it. It's 3 different DJs.
That's not what I want to do.
And it's like you get to switch it, right, or something like that.
Yeah, you get to switch it, go to another room or something like that. No, I want it to be like one party, one crowd, one DJ at a time. The whole crowd is in unison in their headphones. Everybody's in sync. Everybody's dancing at the same time. No matter what's being played outside the headphones, everybody hearing the same thing in their headphones. That's what makes sense to me. Because doing 2 and 3 DJs at the same time, splitting them up, everybody's confused.
It's not that same vibe.
It's not the same vibe. I want everybody to vibe in the same place. Have the same vibe, in sync, in the same place.
I want to go to one.
So any promoter that's listening, if you motherfuckers are going to do another silent party, you better hire me. I'm going to come in that bitch and crash the place.
And turn the music on, literally, to where it's not silent
I'll
anymore.
unplug all the headphones. That's what I'll do.
Then it'll really be
DJ
silent.
won't hear. DJ won't know shit. He'll be in his headphones.
It'll really be silent. Then it'll actually be a silent party.
It'll be a silent. It'll be a silent party.
An extra silent party. Be extra quiet. Nah, but I definitely want to go to one. I think that'll be fire.
Yeah, I want to DJ at one. Fuck going to one. I don't want to just attend the bitch. I want to DJ it.
Maybe
promoters, you better hire me.
Maybe I should do a listening party like that for the
That'd
EP.
be dope.
Maybe. I've already said too much. Yep. That'd
Do
be
it.
fire though.
Do it.
Would you say that because that was my question I was gonna ask about as far as like albums, the importance of releasing an album? Would you say, as we know it, is it dead?
Nope. And yes. Because I don't care.
What do you mean? I ask it because with the whole they pushing this whole playlist thing heavy now, where it's just cool to release one track maybe or 2 tracks and have them on playlists.
Yeah, but nobody's really pushing that except major label people.
I was just about to say, and that seemed like that's where it's really coming from.
What they're trying to do is cater to people. What happened was when they realized what, and Jimmy Iovine was one of the first ones. He, as y'all saw in his documentary, he was telling people what was going to happen and nobody listened to him.
Right.
So he knew. All the major labels had to play catch up. So now they trying to be on the cusp of everything, and it's barely working because it's like the vibe I get from major labels now is the dad of the teenagers who's trying to stay cool.
This is what everybody's wearing, right? Huh?
Right.
Huh?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's
the
vibe I get from major labels. So
the
that
daddy
playlist
is just slightly behind, probably like nobody's wearing a do-rag under the hat no more, and he's still
whether he's slightly behind or not, he is out of place. He's out of place.
That makes sense. Because if you think about it, it's crazy because although we know that the album itself isn't dead, obviously, the percentage, and I got this from Lander, I think it's LANDR.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's basically they were saying like 77% of people now like actually get more of their music. They consume a lot of their music more so through playlisting or or streaming just a single song, while it's only 22% that actually rather rock with the album format. I'm a little bit of both. Like I have my playlist, and sometimes I just want to hear a flat out album. You know what I'm saying, or EP.
I'm an album guy. If I'm riding around, I'm either listening to a shuffle of one artist or I'm listening to one album. And I get the playlist thing and I get the whole shuffle thing, but everybody that's not.
I have to be in a mood for that.
It's not the whole shuffle and playlist thing, and I guess none of it is for everybody.
It's
one album is not for everybody. One artist is not for everybody. A playlist is not for everybody. You know what I mean?
It's a move for me. I don't. Sometimes I just be like, damn, I really want to hear this album, especially if the album is good. Like you know. But if it's just like different, I'm not really in the zone of just sitting and vibe with one record. Then yeah, obviously a playlist. And I started breaking this down more, and I think because this was through ASCAP, where I got the information as far as the streaming. Because we talked about this the last episode, but never really wasn't clear as far as like the numbers as far as like how it's broken down. But they factor in so much now because of the I guess for like who sold the most records or whatever. You know, they consider sales obviously part of it is streaming, but it's actually 1,500 streams of one song from an album in order for it to be considered an album sale. Right. Nobody's getting money off that. Nobody's really making. No artist is really making bread like that. No, that's crazy.
Well, I guess Lil Yachty is. He just put up his video about doing 1 billion streams.
But so that means if you stream one song from an album, 1,500 times, that's considered an album sale, and you know obviously it charges that. That's crazy. Like nobody's getting bread off that, which is funny because we get so many artists that just come out the blue. And a lot of, I mean, I know it's entertainment, but a lot of the records are driven toward like just having money and having this. It's like, well, you knew, are you getting shows like that to where you just banking money? Are you licensing music? Are you licensing music like that, I should say, or even, you know, let alone selling the music? Right. Nobody's really buying it, so it's like you hear the new music now. It's like, you really making money like that just coming out the gate? It's a different perspective now because of how we know streaming. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. 1,500 streams of one song.
So what happens is these artists go ahead and sign them deals, get whatever advance they're gonna get, and it's not a lot. Like back in the 80s and 90s, when artists were getting, $1 million, $2 million advances. Yeah. That day is gone. Right. So artists now are probably getting like $250,000 advance.
To count as an album sale, man, that's crazy.
So now what they have to do, they basically have to go to work. Signing that contract and getting that $250,000 advance basically says, I now work for this company, so I have to do what they say do because I'm not going to make that back in sales or streams.
So it's worse now.
It's way worse.
It's crazy.
Because you're going to have to do a lot more work, do a lot more things to pay that little bit of money back.
Damn.
You're not getting it back in sales like it used to happen in the 90s.
It's more now better than ever to be independent, period.
Yeah. If you're going to sell, just like the guy you talked about the last podcast that talked about direct sales or direct, direct to
fan marketing.
Yeah. That's probably the best way to go if people, sit and do the work. Instead of, because it's basically like you can do that work, or you can sign that contract and roundabout way have to go back and do that work anyway.
So even to circle back with it being said that it's 1,500 streams for one song for it to be considered an album sale. That's how it's coming out. That a lot of albums, like you hear some albums, such and such went platinum, or whatever, such and such went gold. It could more so just be off one song.
It has been.
It could be a bunch of people just streaming one song, not your album, one song. Yeah. And, he went platinum, but ain't nobody listening to nothing else really. They're skimming through it, but everybody just focused and zoned in on maybe that hit single or whatever.
Well, most people are going platinum now.
Is that cheating?
It can be looked at as cheating, but of course it's not considered cheating because they have accepted it for that. But people have been going platinum as far as singles more than albums anyway. Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah, a lot of gold and platinum singles going around. And
I just feel like don't say that such and such album went platinum if technically nobody's really streaming a gang of times other songs on the album if it's really just one or two songs that they streaming. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. It's so unclear. Very, very unclear. They got to figure that out, man. That's crazy.
I don't think they will because it's what is accepted now.
Damn. And fans don't really care. No, fans, obviously, and you can't blame them for not caring. Like, it's convenient as hell. Like, obviously, yeah.
I just wish they would care.
Here. They not, though. You can't make them. It's because they're fans. They love the music. They not just, how is this broken down You know, the people that's listening to this, they probably, you know, if they artists or whatever, yeah, it makes sense to them and they get it. But if you explain it to like a fan, I don't think it's gonna trigger it to where they just gonna be like, you know what?
Right.
Tomorrow I'm gonna stop streaming music.
Right.
It's too convenient now. You got, it's no looking back. And one thing I wanted to talk about too, before, because we've been doing this for like about 30 something minutes. I said like 30, 45. You know, y'all know I don't like to keep the podcast too long, but producers getting paid like off of the music. What's the proper way that producers generate royalty? I'm not saying as far as the bag or like them, oh, so and so got broke off so many thousands for this beat or whatever. I'm saying like when it come down to the song actually generating income, which is weird because we just talked about streams and how nobody's really just.
I think I honestly think everything should go through your publishing agreement, and you know, of course, whatever your production agreement is, make that in the beginning. You know, whatever your fee is, take that fee in the beginning, and then everything else, what they call the back end, you get from sales and publishing.
What I do is
there is no more sales,
right?
So you get it through publishing.
See, because what I do is obviously, you know, ASCAP, if you registered as a publishing entity, you can do that, and then also you got the songwriter entity
right.
too. When I register my songs, and I'm pretty sure a lot of artists don't do this, they probably just register it as them, and that's it, and maybe the feature.
And that's where they mess up.
I always include, I'll use an example for, there's a song, Mind of a Champion, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Produced by LABL Tracks. When I registered the song, I made sure that I included myself as a songwriter. It's under my government name, and then on top of that, because when you register, I'm used to ASCAP, so when you register through ASCAP, it'll show like, okay, songwriter name or whatever. You go through the search box and you find your name or whatever, add it, and then a couple boxes under, or maybe the second, I forget.
Like
anyway,
the next box.
Yeah, and it'll say like second songwriter or composer or whatever.
Right.
I included LABL Tracks as the composer. So it's funny because when I was contacted as far as the song through licensing, as far as placement, right? And the main thing they said, it was like, well, who's the songwriter of this? And I said, it's me. You know, obviously, you know, my government. I'm like, I'm the songwriter or whatever. And it was like, yeah, but this here says it has another songwriter or whatever. I'm like, well, that's they were like, when we searched the ASCAP database, it said that there was another songwriter, LABL Tracks or whatever. And I'm like, well, yeah, he's the composer. I'm giving him his credit. They were kind of shocked, like, oh. Not shocked in the sense, like, well, why would you do that? But it's just like, oh, okay, cool.
Right.
You know, I did the same thing with a Climb single. I was contacted about that. And as far as licensing, and they were like, well, it says this other songwriter, Alfred Robinson, or whatever, and it's Black Beethoven. So I'm like, yeah, he's the composer. Because I feel like producers get slighted. Like, you're supposed to give them credit, not just register the song. You wrote it, and that's it. Somebody did this beat.
Right.
Because when you check the ASCAP statements through the members portal or whatever, you would generate some income off of it.
Right.
Based off publishing alone. Now it's good to register with a publishing administration because they can obviously track royalties from like coming in maybe from other countries or whatever. But for the most part, if you're not with one, you still will see some of that publishing income.
Yeah, you're going to see something.
Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's just not going to be as broad as it is if it's from other like countries where a publishing administration comes in handy. So I just thought I wanted to ask that question.
So that is your lesson today on publishing.
I wasn't even trying to throw the gems out there. It just was like, I was just shocked. I'm like, other artists may not be doing that. Like,
and they not. They are not. The other thing that really like bothers the shit out of me is mainly a major label thing. An artist will get a beat from a producer, and then have one producer, a totally different producer, come in and add to it,
and then give them credit for it.
Give them credit, and then have another producer come in and add to it. Give them credit. By the time it reaches the release, there's like 3, 4, 5 producers on it who never even met each other on one song. One,
that's
you know,
whack.
if the artist is on point, they're giving everybody the credit, and they're splitting, you know, all of the composing and writing stuff. But it's like too many hands touching it.
Yeah,
To
that's
me,
very whack.
it's kind of whack because it's like it's almost like manufacturing some.
I felt that way with as far as from a songwriting perspective. I felt that way when they released the who wrote the song for the Beyonce "Who Run the World" the girl song. I'm like, it's like 20 something writers with this. Like,
Yeah.
they're not saying a lot. Like, what is it like, man?
And all it is like somebody coming in and adding one or two things to it, and they get credit.
No, say girls like this, girls, and
Yeah,
like, damn,
and they
like,
get credit for
up,
that.
Like,
Yeah, they get
I
credit for that.
get it, but it's like, damn, it's like,
Right,
really?
I get it too, but it's just too much, and it's too manufactured.
Yeah.
It's not, and see, I guess that's a part of my issue. It goes back to the artistry. It really tampers with the artistry to me. It's like you're not getting what. Put it like this: after watching, and you know, it's not to sound old or go back to old things, but when I see films on artists from the 70s and 80s and how they recorded and you know who they were in the studio with and how they were in the studio with them, and that's how songs were made, and it's usually one writer, 1 to 2 writers, you know, and one producer, and you know however many musicians. That made a difference because the music wasn't manufactured. It was actually created and had a feeling to it. And it's something I want to get back to. I actually want to have a whole band in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
While the singer is singing or the rapper is rapping and the band playing at the same time.
Cadillac Records and some shit.
Yeah. But, you know, those days are gone because it's like you said, you got people, you know, 88 writers on one song, the song 3.5 minutes, and they manufactured the shit out of it.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, man, I always think about that. It always made me think about that. Like, man, there was a lot of writers for that one song. It wasn't whack. It was a hit song, but it was like, damn, it wasn't even a lot of words said in it.
Exactly.
It was like for real? Like, it's crazy. I don't know, man.
It's something and I can't get everybody away from it, or I really don't even want to, but it's something that I want to do differently with my production. I want to actually produce records where, you know, I got a full band in there and not necessarily, you know, going off a metronome or I ain't sitting there just looping 4 bars of what the, you know, musician just played. I want to have a musician in there for, you know, I remember loving the fact that artists used to do, you know, 7, 8, 9-minute songs, or you know, James Brown did a 13-minute song. You know, it's
like a 4-minute drum break.
Yeah, but it's like every minute.
Crazy because that's how hip hop came about.
Every minute of that song actually had something different. It had something dope, and it kept you listening. You didn't get tired of it. It didn't bore you. If we try to make a 13-minute song out of anything that you hear right now, you'll be bored after 6 minutes.
Right.
You'll be ready to tear holes in speakers.
Cut this shit off
After 5 minutes. Yeah, that's the difference.
I was saying that's crazy because that's a part of like the beginnings of hip hop, just from the drum breaks, like just people looping. That's crazy.
Dude, Rapper's Delight was 15 and a half minutes?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
15-minute long song. The first rap record on vinyl. And now we got, you know, 2.5, 2-minute, 45-second songs written by 17 people. Whack.
Oh, I think we should close it like that.
On how whack people are?
You know, you bodied that. Just how you... Yeah.
Well, good night, everybody.
We'll be back with episode 23. Like I say, leadandbelegendary.net. Order some merch. Order some t-shirts. Seriously. Well, hoodie season coming up, so yeah, definitely grab you a hoodie. Shout out to my cousin Kyrie. She's graduated and I want to say she will be attending Howard University. Yep. Shout out to her for that, man. That's real dope.
Once again, shout out to the Crickets.
Shout out to the Crickets.
They were the featured guest on the podcast tonight.
Shout out to my daughter. She's 5. By the time y'all hear this podcast, 5 years have went by. 5 years. Where did the time go?
Yeah, happy birthday, baby name tag.
Baby name tag. Oh. This is a bad follow-up, but shout out to them pics of Rihanna that was floating around online. Just simple as that. And I'm closing with that, flat out.